Good afternoon. And welcome back to the One Celtic fans of you. Unfortunately, the manager hasn't been sacked yet. We are running a poll question already. Do you think that the board will act before the week ends? Oh, Jesus. I should really redo that, shouldn't I? Let's end that poll. Let's start another one with it typed correctly. Now that I've got my Gregory's on. This keyboard. There we go. Do you think that the board will act before the weekend? Tell me your thoughts on the channel. Big shout out to Scott Mac for becoming a member of the channel. There is a bit of news that we kind of missed this morning. I kind of spoke about it slightly about Jamal Simpson Poozy going to be leaving the club. It means that we will be in need. Afternoon, Helen. How are you? It means that we will be in need of another defender. Now, there is news of the fact that Celtic are closing in on a defender. Celtic, it said, it's it's in talks. That's been said, advanced talks to bring in a Mexican fullback to join Celtic on loan until the rest of the season. Recent subscriber, love the channel. The players look lost at sea, no formation to speak, and the risk is taking is unnecessary. We do not have the players to implement this type of football. No, we don't. We don't have the players to implement this style of football, but will the manager be given time? Is the big question. And will the board act? Or will the board go, do you know what? We know the current state of the squad. Let's see if we can get some players in to help the gaffer out. Yeah, the guy from Bournemouth. He's not. Bournemouth bought him for 9 million, and haven't really played him. He's kind of fell out of favour. We'll wait and see. Came through the system at LA Galaxy before moving to Europe, didn't he? He was at Barcelona, wasn't he? So we'll wait and see. The board won't act anytime soon. Likely they'll use this as an excuse not to invest. If they do that, there's every chance that the fan base will go into complete meltdown. He's going nowhere. This is all on the board. Yeah, I don't think personally. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think that he will be given time. I think that the manager knows the situation with the club. He knows that the board will not jump the gun and sack him. I think they've reassured him that he may get until the transfer window to bring in players, and then this one's on the board big time. This one's on the board big time. Let me just sort that as well. Edit text. But other than that, it is deadly silent from Celtic Park. Celtic have put nothing out on their social media today, which is strange after a game day. There is usually some sort of stuff put out. One thing that I noticed yesterday from Luke McCowan, seen the rounds, doing the rounds on Twitter, was Sharon Henderson posted it. It's had 32,000 views. Let's just share the screen for this one. Move me over a bit there. In fact, I'll move this over there. It is the face of Luke McCown, and not too happy at the end of the game. And let's face it, not too happy at all was Luke McCown, was he? And then there was also pictures of Arnie Engels trying to console, the the player. But tell me what you think about that. You'd be kidding yourself. No reason to apologise for being negative. You'd be kidding yourself trying to put a positive spin on the situation. These people are much worse than negative, realistic ones, lol. He should have gone. The board won't act. He's out of his depth. He was an average manager in the shitty MLS. There is a lot of Celtic fans deep into his last season in the MLS, and the amount of goals that he conceded. Why is Viva España trending? So just give me a second. I'll just try to see what's going on. Hmm. The right wing in Spain trying to get a hold, a bit like Farage in the UK. I don't think it will happen. Hope not, anyway. But anyway, we move on. What's his record so far? 1-2, drawn 0, lost 5. Yep. Sorry, McCown can get the fuck as well. Why? Interesting. McCown says I'm fucking sick of this shit. Yep, he did that. But why should McCown get to fuck as well? That's an interesting one. Luke gets he's our next captain. Interesting. McCown was arguably the man in the match of the weekend, and then he got dropped. Don't blame him. I'd be raging if I was playing for a fraud of a manager. Nancy doesn't give a toss either, do the boards. If they keep Nancy, he's all no going to games and buying no more merch until they give a toss. If he is not removed, there's a poll for you. If he is not removed by the weekend and we lose the game at the weekend, send that. Is it time for? There's a better one because this is. This will be an interesting poll question. I'll just check this first. I'm just going to check that there's no news on a certain site. And let's start the poll. If the manager is not removed and we lose the game this weekend, is it time to start boycotting games at Celtic FC? Is it time to turn the screw on the board? The board are not going to remove themselves. The board have dug themselves in the trenches. Is it time to go old school? Is it time to go hardcore and boycott games? Now, you can still go through, you can still stand outside Celtic Park, but if we do lose the game at the weekend, is it time for a boycott of games at Celtic Park? Going to run this one for around about 40 minutes or so, maybe about half an hour. Wayne Biggins was starting that squad. We'll get battered at the weekend. The Huns have 3 strikers. We're walking at our side, even given how bad the 3 of them are. That's true. Last season's Ross County finished last with 37 points. Liam says, worked out based on last night. 1-2, lost 5, drawn 0, and 7, based on over an average. That would be 38 points. Ross County finished the season on 37 points. My dad's been watching Celtic for over 60 years. He said this is the worst team. No passion, no fight. Tell me about it. I'm just done with these players now. McCowan was pulling out 50-50 challenges. They're all shite bags. They are all shite bags. But they're playing in positions. If you're Luke McCowan and you've said to the manager, now, it's, from my understanding, Luke McCowan says, if you're going to play me as a wing back, I'm going to look for another club at the next window. And then Luke McCowan was dropped. So if you're Luke McCowan and you're getting played in that position and the manager's saying, no, you're a wing back, that's it, you either fucking like it or lump it, you go, well, fuck it, I'll get through games, I'll get to the transfer window. I'm not going to get myself injured. I'm going to pull out the tackles to make sure I don't get injured because I want away for the club. It's toxic. Would you not do the same? Is it time for a boycott a game? 77% say yes if we lose the game this weekend. Nord Celts is in the house. Yes, have a good one yourself. There is a little video going out around about 4:30 that just says Happy New Year, everyone. These clowns need outed. Zero ambition in Europe for years. Been lucky Gers have been so bad, and as soon as the Celtic board face a challenge, they crumble. Frauds, every single one of them. Upside, it's Lawwell's last day today. That is one of the upside. Didn't say anything about sacking him last night. As bad as the first 3 games were, I was still optimistic. But now we have to get rid of him. Well, we're still only 3 points behind. And I think that's the important part. That's the important part to take from. There has been many fans who have just went, we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt until it's no longer acceptable to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I think last night's game, I'm sorry, but playing Rio Hitati as a striker, why did no one ask him after the game, what was your thoughts on playing Rio Hitati in the centre forward position? As in the middle of a front three. That's just absolutely friggin' bonkers. Playing Rio Hitati in the middle of a front three. I don't get it. That for me, as soon as that game started last night, I thought, he's done it. He's nothing, as they like to say. But yeah, I wasn't one for wanting him sacked. I thought, well, we've won 2 games. Let's see if we can go on a run, and if we could turn this around. But Nancy just pulls the pin out the hand grenade and just throws the hand grenade into the pitch, doesn't he? And that's the way that the team. Yes, it's time for a boycott. I won't hear anyone saying how we'll hurt this team, so need to go. That time has gone. Thing couldn't be any worse. It's for the greater good, empty place. I think so. I think you're right, Lauren. No sympathy for the manager. He's been rotten all year round. You can't shoehorn players out of position into a system they clearly don't suit. Nancy's learning nothing. Can't trust him in this window. I think Nancy is similar to Ronnie Dyler. Ali Dear, a guy who in 1996 pretended to be George Weah's. I'm 61, been going to Parkhead since I was 5. This is the worst Celtic team in my memory. Do you think that this is worse than the Liam Brady years? Yeah, because it probably was. Tony Mowbray. I think just the formation for me. How can McCowan get a run in the middle? Hitati, Bernardo are both wasting a shirt. Yes, and he's bound to be thinking that as well. Saying that McCowan needs to go. McCowan's probably the one player that's thinking, what the fuck are these guys doing? And there will be a togetherness within in the camp But there were players as well saying, I'm not fucking playing for this manager. Not a chance. And then you've got the likes of Dyson Maeda. That's just kidding himself on just now. I've never seen such a player of Dyson Maeda's quality. I've never seen a player just not give a shit at Celtic. And we don't have a manager strong enough to drop him. Martin O'Neill dropped him. And I thought, go on yourself, Martin O'Neill. 2 wins against 10 men. Livingston, shockingly bad. Yeah, it is. Big up to Nod Stelt, who just became a member. We're getting done badly this weekend. Thank fuck, I'll be away abroad. Says Anthony. My mother arrives at the airport early morning. I'm seriously considering about not doing a watch along. I maybe should, but I'm seriously thinking, do I want to put myself through that? But for the greater good of the channel, I probably should. The man Ralston has zero ability, very poor footballer, whose goal against Ross County is his only claim to fame. It is, isn't it? His goal against Ross County under Ange Postecoglou all those years ago changed the season. Rodgers couldn't beat Russell Martin. Now we have the worst manager. Can't even talk about it. Still in shock. The players are far more power than us as fans. Why they're not pushing this guy out? I don't mean throw in the towel, but approach the boards. Well, allegedly, when it was suggested by Peter Martin that the manager was about to be sacked, seemingly Callum McGregor phoned Michael Nicholson and says, sort this shit out, the place is toxic. Nancy does not have a clue. He got the players playing out of their comfort zone. Nancy must go before it's too late. Carmack needs to say something to the boards. I think that's what we were just talking about. Hatate's passing is atrocious. Yes. We need to talk about the Rio Hatate, the myth, the legend, the phenomenon that is Rio Hatate. One good pass in every 5 games, or turning up for half a game in a European game, isn't Celtic level. It's time for Rio Hatate. We need a clear out. We need a manager to come in. We need someone to steady the ship, first of all. And I think that calling on in-house and getting Sean Maloney for starters, bring in Sean Maloney until the end of the season. I think Sean Maloney would do a fine job to the end of the season. I know that he doesn't want the manager's job long term, but he would do the best for the club. I think we need to now take our time and get the correct manager that knows what Celtic's about. It's okay bringing in this manager, and if we'd maybe brought in Nancy at the beginning of the season and he'd had his time to train the players, there's no time to train the players on a new system. He either changes or Celtic have to change him, and they have to do it before it's too late. Now, whatever he says to the board upstairs, yes, I'll change things, he maybe has meetings and says, it's okay, I've got it under control. He's bullshitting the board. It's as simple as that. He's absolutely bullshitting the board. Schmeichel up front on Sunday, you'd be as well, and just bounce him about the box. We shouldn't boycott games, players need the support. Well, we boycotted games to a certain extent in the 1990s to get change. Do you not think that boycotting the game and protesting outside the front of Celtic Park for the 90 minutes would say more to the board? We will not be taken for granted. The board takes every single one of you for granted. The board takes every single Celtic fan around the world for granted because they know that we'll go and buy merchandise. Jesus, when I went onto Facebook on Christmas Day, all it was people giving kids Celtic merchandise for Christmas. The Not Another Penny campaign might be working to a certain extent, but it certainly didn't look like it on video. Training videos. As there training videos went out today from Celtic? I don't think so because the players won't be training today. They'll be off. YouTube. No, there's nothing went out since the interview. Do you know what's crazy? Is the Wilfred Nancy interview is probably one of the least from Celtic itself is one of the least watched videos out of fan content and Celtic content. Unbelievable. But no, Celtic haven't put anything out on YouTube. They haven't put anything out on Facebook. Hmm. Anyway, Rodgers wasn't backed. Rodgers had the best record of any Celtic manager in Glasgow derbies. He predicted this when the board wouldn't spend money. I live in England and I was a member of our local CSC. I went to an Irish bar to watch games and had subscriptions at home when I didn't go out. Calmatt needs to go above Nancy 100%. Yeah, I think so. I think he needs to go above Nancy and just go to the board and say, look, this guy's going to kill the club. He's not going to kill the club, but you're going to get players that are going to go, fuck it, I need away. And then we need to go and bring in 7, 8, 9 players. Can another manager turn these players into the superstars that they think they are? Football's complicated. When you make it complicated, this guy is making it look like the hardest thing in the world. Very, very, very true. Last night games was serious limited test. We could have been on level terms. His tactics, etc., show he's not Celtic manager material. No manager with any credibility would join such a sinking ship. Interesting. We're exceptionally lucky to be in the place we are. Sack him now and we can still win a double. Imagine that. But then the issue is we rely on the board to do something that they won't. Will the board ultimately get rid of the manager now, or will they say, do you know what, he could still turn it around? Will they just dig their heels in and say, nah, he'll be fine, we'll get him some new players? We can't keep sacking managers. If we sack him, it's going to cost us 1.2 million in compensation. That's 1.2 million that could go to a player to bring in a player. The silence from the suits is deafening. Yeah, it is that. Mowbray's team had better strikers. Why has Callum not been doing pressers? I think he's embarrassed. I think that there is an ongoing situation in the background where several Celtic players are went, nope, I'm not doing press conferences for this manager. We shouldn't be holding Nancy responsible for Rodgers' failings. Nah, I'm not giving you that one, mate. Michael, come on. His team Rio Hitati up front. Shun Yamada's never a Celtic striker, but Rio Hitati up front, where he spent half the time going, looks like a rabbit in the headlights. I think in his times, his Scottish Pope can't accept losing games, but can't accept losing to the lack of fight and hunger and desire. It's not on. It's the Zion Dermot. Barnes and Douglas era wasn't as bad as this fool. Now I have refused to sign while Nancy is in place. For me, this is worse than the previous at this time last year. We were competing against Bayern. We've mismanaged every aspect of the football department. What were the subs all about at half time? Well, according to the manager, he said that the subs were all pre-planned. He says that they actually wanted to rest the players, but they needed them for such an important game. And it was all about just giving them the half time, but I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I think the manager talks out his arse. I got 2 season tickets for Saturday and said, nah, I'm trimming my beard on Saturday. It's just the amount of records that he's broken already. Losing to a team for the first time in 30 odd years, and then 13 years since we lost to Motherwell at Fir Park. Time won't fix this. Boycott a game on Saturday, Baz, then stand outside you. Yeah, goose. Mate, I said on the channel last night, I want Celtic fans outside the ground every day, but it's not going to happen. 2025 Celtic fans have not a fucking breath of fresh air on the Celtic fans for the 1990s. And that's fact. The Celtic fans in the 1990s demanded change, didn't do it online. You know, didn't do. That's just my view on it. I think that the Celtic fan base is weak at the moment. Ask yourself, would you rather any other team in the league with their resources be in this position? No, they wouldn't. If there was any other team with their resources, they would be way in front. Imagine the atmosphere in the dressing room last night. Well, hence the reason that there was no players. Celtic are a side devoid of passion, flair, bottle. Been saying Hatate's pish for seasons now, so overrated. He is that. The players look broken with Nancy in charge. He has to go. Hatate absolutely terrible. We need to be clear out from top to bottom. But then who do you then bring in? And how soon? You're talking about a 20-30 million pound spend. And that's not going to guarantee you quality players. We spent 5 million in Balak Wisher. There's more deep rooted problems. I think a good manager can turn these players around. A damn good manager can get these players playing football. They must have been playing good football at a previous club for us to buy them. You do not buy a player if he's not improved the team that he was currently with. Do you know, if he's not having a good season? Unless you're Celtic, of course. But Hatate was the man down last night. It was that. The blame lies with Dermot Desmond. He's the boss. Needs to be today after Sunday's too late. I'm pretty sure Calmac walked straight past Nancy at full time. Didn't even acknowledge him. Can't understand the thing he says. I couldn't understand the thing he said last night either. We've been on the slippery slope for a while. Let Nancy do his job. Oh. Even if it means losing the next few games. Hatate is brilliant when teams coasting, but garbage when we need to fight. Yes. A lot of people say they need Calmac to stand up to the manager here. The fact that he rested Kenny last night for Saturday were a mess. Tell me about it. Wilfred Nancy's proved no evidence that he's a good player. Nancy is still here after today. He's not even a winner. Nancy should not be allowed to do any more damage. Yeah. A lot of people saying get Maloney, Fozzie back. Get the band back together to save our season. Who would Celtic realistically attract? I think that we do go into the end of the season just to get Fozzie back in, get Maloney, and get McManus for the B team. The B team's doing fucking nothing anyway. The B team's a bunch of 16-year-old players now. You know, it's a bunch of players that they're not going to do any great things anytime soon. The B team's about 4 or 5 years away from producing any talent. So I think that bringing those guys into Celtic, and look, yes, we may not win the title, but I don't think that any manager worth his salt is going to come to Celtic right now because they know it's such a toxic environment. You know, you would have to take someone like a Martin O'Neill, but Martin O'Neill doesn't want to do it. Klopp couldn't sort out that shower. No, he couldn't. Looks like they hadn't been training by last night's game. Yeah, they didn't. He has to go before Saturday. It's already too late. This season will be a disaster. Silence from the suits is deafening. Yep, they are that. The damage is still reversible, but action is needed immediately. I mean, can we win the season with Sean Maloney and Fozzie and that in charge? I don't think that we would win the season. But surely the board members can see the same as us. Yeah, I think so. He's a shield for the board. Mm. Wee Jamesy was the best player when he came on. Baz, he was that. You don't need to tell me. I said that in this morning's video. I said James Forrest was absolutely phenomenal as a player last night. He showed what it means to play for Celtic, to fight, to try and just play a game of football. We've now got a team of players that do not have any fight about them. Um, Martinez was at Fir Park last night. Interesting. Who was he there to see? And was he there with Sean? Was he there with Sean Maloney? Was he sitting beside Sean Maloney? We are risking 40 million by keeping him, mate. We are not getting into the Champions League next season. We can. There is no way. If we would need to change managers now, bring in someone like Roberto Martinez and Sean Maloney as his number two, and ultimately go on a run. There's no way that we will be Champions League next season. It's £80 million down the drain in 2 seasons. Anyone still try to blame Rodgers for the shit show is blind. Tierney playing the Maida role. I know. I just can't get that. He starts Bernardo when he's had no game time. Yeah. It's also frightening how we as fans know it's needs to happen, but professionals that are paid millions a year can't do or won't do anything about it. This is true. Was Rodgers' fault when Martin O'Neill won his games as interim manager? Hey, if we don't sack him, we'll end up costing Celtic far more than 1.2 million. Yes, I think 1.2 million is getting us out of a get out of jail free card and trying to save something of the season. Lack of tempo yesterday from the final whistle was just terrible. Motherwell's last two managers have been good. Motherwell playing the best football in the league, and then somebody was laughing at Sean Maloney, even though Sean Maloney was the one under Martin O'Neill that was doing everything. Martin O'Neill was just there as a figurehead. So said Martin O'Neill, not me. Just saying. Conference League next year if we are lucky. Yeah, this is very, very true. Right, let me just jump on and see if there's any breaking news. I doubt there will be anything today. Will Celtic make a statement tonight? I doubt it. And it's just all chat about transfer window. Anyway, right, that is me done and dusted. The last live of the day. The last live of the year. There is a video going out at 4:30 Celtic part time, unless Celtic make a statement tonight. But I doubt that they will. They like to make 5:30, 6:30 statements. Don't bet on it. I don't think that they will. I think we won't hear from them now until next year. And on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are all around the world. Let's finish the poll off. And make sure that you check out the video later on because it's quite a good one. But anyway, I'll see you next year. Don't know when, don't know how. Oh, Jesus, I'm dreading that. Hopefully Nancy's gone by the weekend. Anyway, catch you all later.